Okay, we have some closing remarks now firstly from Ian Byrne, MP, Member of Parliament for Liverpool West Derby. Ian was elected MP for Liverpool West Derby in 2019. He is a passionate campaigner and leads the Right to Food campaign in the UK Parliament to make access to food a legal right for all. He currently sits on the Housing, Communities and Local Government Select Committee and the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs Select Committee, among other things. Over to you, Ian.
Thanks very much. Look, greetings of solidarity and really thank you to Just Fair for inviting me to speak today. Genuinely, it's been an absolute pleasure to listen to the contributions, the questions from so many great people in the room. I don't think I've been in a room with so many great people since I sat in the COP last week. I am the member of Liverpool West Derby. I was elected in 2019 and stood on a proudly transformative socialist manifesto which pledged to introduce a right to food in the end of food banks in the UK. Since then, I've led the Right to Food campaign with the aim of having the basic human right of access to food enshrined in UK law. And we're here today, 5 years on, and we listened to the magnificent Philip Alston. His powerful report described the removal of our social safety net, which he touched on, but his report pointed out that poverty is a political choice, and he used that phrase again today. Resources were available to the Treasury at the time that could have transformed the situation of millions of people living in poverty, but the political choice was made to fund tax cuts for the wealthy instead. And it's absolutely horrifying that these political choices have continued over the last 5 years relentlessly and have led us to this dire situation of hunger and poverty on a scale not seen in many of our lifetimes. If you needed any more powerful indication of that, last month, 100 years on from the original hunger march from Liverpool to London in 1922, we had 3 hunger marches held in Liverpool, Belfast and London. The 3 cities united to deliver a simple message: demand the right to food. But what an indication of where we are at the moment in society. And there's actually more planned in November, including in Wales. And this crisis of food poverty in one of the wealthiest places on the planet means that millions of people today will skip one meal to ensure the children are fed. In my great city of Liverpool, 1 in 3 are currently in food insecure, and this is replicated across the UK. A staggering 500,000 of children have dropped below the poverty line this year. And if the government continues to make the same political choices, and I fear it will, and fails to act, which I don't think it will, we will see this continued hardship manifested in rising food bank use, homelessness and poor health. Knock-on effects such as increased pressure on public services already decimated by 13 years of austerity, and the longer-term impacts on children and communities store up further problems for the future. Professor Ian Sinner is a consultant paediatrician at Alderhay Hospital in my constituency of West Derby. He's a fantastic man. Tragically, many of the children he is seeing in his clinic are showing early signs of adult diseases linked to poor nutrition, hunger and housing. A truly shameful fact. Let's not forget, in the 6th richest country in the world, there was absolutely nothing yesterday in the King's speech from the government to address this crisis, which I'm speaking about and we've all spoke about this afternoon. So we've put an amendment down today to the King's speech calling for the right to food to be enshrined in UK law. This is needed so everyone, including all children, are legally protected from hunger. Now, the founder of the NHS, that magnificent man, Nye Bevan, said that, and I quote, "Private charity can never be a substitute for organised justice. And if reliance on charity alone considered sufficient guarantee for basic human needs in the UK, previous generations would not have legislated for universal state schooling, and the Labour government would not have created the National Health Service in 1948 after the horrors and sacrifices of World War II. How we need politicians about Bevan's radicalism and ambition to tackle the humanitarian scourge of hunger and poverty. Domestic legislation is required to make such rights real and enforceable. Now, food needs to be practically in reach for everyone by way of wage and benefits levels, pricing, direct provision, or a combination of all 3. Our discussions today have highlighted that, and it's far from the case. The time for stick and plasters truly is over. The reliance on thousands of food banks and pantry volunteers who do magnificent work is over. We need systemic change so that all our people may live with the opportunity, health, happiness and dignity. And that's why we started the campaign for the right to food, both as a grassroots national movement and in Parliament, to make access to food a legal right for all, building on the Work and Labour's 2019 manifesto, to collaboration with people in poverty, councils, trade unions, football clubs, football supporters, faith leaders, community groups, health workers, local businesses, politicians and many, many more stakeholders. The campaign has grown and placed pressure on the government to arrange a collective actions and solidarity. 27 towns and cities across the UK have joined our campaign to declare themselves right to food towns and cities. Belfast signed up last month. In Parliament, to the EFRA Select Committee, which you touched on, we called on the government to invite Olivia's colleague, Michael Thackeray, to the UK to do a report on what a right to food could look like in the UK. I'm still waiting for Theresa Coffey to answer that call, so we will see. It's due tomorrow, I think. So in a just society, right to food should not be a safety net, but a rope ladder to ever higher standards of provision. I'm proposing the following 5 measures, which were created from collaboration, working with the magnificent Shami Chakrabarti and many other people to create these 5 simple asks, extremely modest but deliverable. This is what a right to food could begin to look like in law. Universal free school meals for every single child in this country. It's an investment. For the government of the day, any colour, to factor in the cost of food, good nutritious food, when setting minimum living wages, benefits. That's accountability. Independent enforcement of legislation, community kitchens, the utilisation of school kitchens and other kitchens for dining clubs, meals on wheels services for the elderly and vulnerable, and school holiday meals, and indeed cookery clubs for the wider community, and ensured food security. The government must ensure food security and take this into account when setting competition, planning, transport, local government and all other policy, including tackling the profiteering we are seeing. It must break everyone's heart in this room to see baby formula milk in locked cases. This is achievable. We have councils now like Cumberland Council embedding the right to food into their public health framework and working with Liverpool Council, Islington Council and all the other councils who have signed up to the right to food. We need to be able to do it at a local level, grassroots up, if the government of the day aren't listening. And I often hear that horrible phrase, hard choices in politics. But for me, a hard choice is doing nothing with millions of suffering and you turn away in their hour of need. Our fight will continue for as long as it's needed because the people suffering deserve nothing less than systemic change. We have to empower those who feel they haven't got a voice to raise up and shout out about the injustice of hunger, which again is a political choice. To finish, in the words of the great Nelson Mandela, like slavery and apartheid, poverty is not natural, it is man-made and it can be overcome and eradicated by the actions of human beings. Thank you.